Greetings. This is Brother Eric. They call me the Boogeyman. This very important topic of two-person crews requires a little bit of mathematics. You see, I grew up riding CTA trains when there was always two-person crews, the conductor and the motorman. It was safer, it was faster. When I fulfilled my dream of becoming a motorman, they also called a RTO, Rapid Transit Operator, it was quickly dashed as I realized it was almost impossible to enjoy the job as one person. I know of so many good, hard-working coworkers that no longer work here because they easily racked up these merciless safety violations and various stress-related injuries. What was once fun and exciting became terrifying and frustrating as I feared the end of my career. Had I not made the switch to the maintenance department, I honestly think I would have been fired a long time ago. And I'm sure there's quite a few people in our union and in CTA management that were really looking forward to that. Thanks to the many helpful supervisors and yardmasters, I dodged quite a few bullets. But eventually luck runs out. At the Chicago Transit Justice Coalition, myself and others have been slowly building a foundation to fight for the return of two-person crews. I'd say for almost each train trip, that's going from one terminal to the other and back, CTA train operators and passengers experience all kinds of delays. Now, by delay, I mean any incident that prevents the operator from moving the train to each station. Fast, efficient, and safe circumstances improve the passenger and CTA worker experience. Delays increase frustrations for passengers, exacerbate stress and or injuries for train operators, and make doing an otherwise enjoyable job a miserable experience. Two-person crews with a dedicated motorman and a dedicated conductor, someone to operate the train to move the train and someone to operate the doors and assist the customers, is the tried and true solution to reducing and or eliminating delays. For the past few years, I've been keeping track of various delays and their average duration. Now, not all of the delays occur at once. They add up in different ways depending on the circumstances, the time of day, the route, the operator's skill level, etc. So you're looking at 1 to 6 minutes for what's called moving emergencies, or when the doors are pulled open when the train is not completely in the station or out of the station. You're looking at a 1 to 3 minute delay. Total, I'm talking about for each trip now. This is for each trip to the terminal and back to the originating terminal. 1 to 3 minutes. Questions by riders at the motor cab window, a gap filler deployment, and personal intercom unit activation. So, that little intercom button. When it comes to workers on or near the tracks, with or without flagmen, you're talking 1 to 3 minutes. You got operating route selector switches when there's no towerman on duty, or going to the track level to pin a track trip and wedge the switch points. That's 1 to 3 minutes. It's about it could be 1 to 6 minutes. Just having to deal with making special announcements from bulletins, checking for or responding to something requested by the controller, such as right-of-way updates, questions, lost items, or suspicious persons or objects. Every time you have to pick up your radio and respond to the controller or that type of thing. That is actually causes a delay because you may stop. You have to stop by the rules to deal with this, or it just takes your attention away, and that will slow you down. You're looking at 1 to 3 minutes walking from one side of the motor cab to the other for door operation at an island platform. So the train operator is not placed in the middle of the train, in the middle of the head of the car. They're actually placed to the right. And when the station platform is on the left, they stop, of course, and they walk across. That's a delay, as opposed to just looking out the window when you're at the right for the right. That's 1 to 3 minutes. 1 to 3 minutes for doors that are manually held or opened by riders or security while the train is at the station. This happens a lot. And when each time it happens, it causes a minor, it's not a whole minute delay, but you can have multiple incidents where it adds up to a minute. So if somebody holds your doors, one person does it for like 5 seconds, one does it for 30 seconds, and then there's the police maybe at Jackson holding it for 50 seconds, doing whatever they got to do. But these things add up. When you have speed restrictions or other kinds of troubleshooting, these things can be a minute to 6 minutes. You just got what they call slow zones, speed areas where the speed is restricted. You can't move your train. You can't operate your train past 15 miles per hour in certain areas, or past 35 miles, or past 25, whatever it is that's set on the tracks for the signals. You're looking at 1 to sometimes 10 minutes clearing a train of passengers or walking from one end to another at the terminal. So there's some terminals where the operators got to get everybody off the train. And as you know, we're around winter time, and there's a whole lot of people living on our trains and buses at the CTA. We cannot take them through the rail yard on the train. They have to get off, then we go and we do a turnaround or a turn back, whatever we got to do. So, everything I'm telling you is in an article, so I'm going to include the link, and you should see the link. You should see this with the article all together. But when you look at the article, you can see the numbers. So when you're talking about your average, your total cumulative delays for one trip can be between 8 and 46 minutes. Now, if everything is smooth and everything goes great, you can make it maybe less than 8 minutes. But when you deal with all these little things, like going from one side of the motor cab to the other, that's actually a delay. As opposed to, I stop my train, conductor's already looking out, flips the doors open, closes the doors, and then I see the relay and I go. You see? So no matter what you do, no matter how hot you may be on the schedule, you're still taking delays. What about for the whole day? So when you're looking at the whole day, your whole 8 hours, or maybe 9 or 10, not including a swing, you're talking a minimum of 25 minutes and a maximum of 38. Based on these statistics I've been mulling over. Now, you look at the week, your whole week of work, your whole 5 days, right? You're looking at 2 hours minimum and 11 hours maximum. Let's look at the year. Your whole year of delays, train operators and passengers, you're looking at 100 hours minimum. And you're looking at 550 hours maximum. Now, the train operators are getting paid for this time, but the passengers aren't if they have to go to work. Okay? And, this is a problem. So the argument that we get against two-person crews, there's lots of them. And I'm not even going to elaborate on them. But the argument is always cynical. And it's based in costs for the CTA. The long-term costs for the CTA workers and the passengers are hinted in these statistics. Specifically, for the local 308 members that I serve as a union steward, the forced overtime, the missed meal breaks, and more destroys their psychological and physical well-being. So we can't put a cost on the health of a human being who works at the CTA or elsewhere. It is truly irresponsible and immoral for the Amalgamated Transit Union Local 308 to help the CTA cut costs on our back. And this was done by eliminating the conductor job over 30 years ago. I liken this issue to a slow boil. You can stick your hand in a pot of cool water. But if you apply a little flame to that pot, eventually you will not be able to keep your hands in there. As of now, we are in the medium hot stage. Some can handle it, but most who do are near retirement. Productivity for all workers nationwide is at historic highs. That means people that do the amount of work that you do in a certain amount of time is extremely high. People in this country are working like they've never worked before. And the CTA is no exception. No matter how much the RTOs get paid, they can't handle any more burdens. They can't handle any more responsibilities. The delays and the stress that accompanies them are making them flee the job. And I just gave you that as an example of myself. It is obvious that passengers are fleeing the trains and the buses. So the solution is multi-layered. Our problems are complex. However, at the foundation of the solution are two things: full-time jobs for all and two-person crews. The CTA and the ATU leadership can dance around it, avoid it, or condemn it. Regardless, the truth stands firm about its immediacy in meeting the moment. And in this article, you also see a chart about U.S. productivity in the U.S. Check it out. And make sure you share this with everybody that you know. Thank you.